Hi. Are you? Is the volume turned down on your
The
computer?
volume is turned down. I turned it down before I brought it over
I
here.
wonder if my volume's turned down. I'm not actually watching, but yeah. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Oh,
Stop it.
I'm good.
Quit it.
Quit it.
We've been so busy the last couple weeks that working on so many projects, including some of yours, that I didn't even have time to do a thumbnail for this video today. I didn't even have time to aim the camera.
Nope. That's
Chris?
okay. It's pretty good.
It's all right. Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching another Thursday live stream. This is a guitar building and repair and, I don't know, dorking around with guitars, question and answer. 1 hour where we take an hour out of every week to answer any and all of your guitar building and repair questions that we possibly can. So, you know why we do this, Chris? I mean, you know why, but you know why. So, because we get questions all the time. Like, for example, there's a YouTube comment that I haven't had time to get back to, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to answer it in the live guitar Q&A. So there was a young man who wanted to know, hey, your pin router looks really great. How would I do a headstock angle with a handheld router? Well, I wouldn't do that with a handheld router. So if prior to having the pin router with the sign plate that we use to establish our headstock angle, which is 7 degrees, which we didn't come up with, right? Dan Armstrong came up with that, but we are smart enough to know that Dan Armstrong knew more about it than we did. So that's why we went to it. And by the way, I have seen a lot of people using 7-degree headstock angles recently. Have you too?
Yeah, I have.
I'm not going to name any names, but I know a lot of guys who are.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Because we're not the first that used it.
Nope.
And
nope.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
It works with the wood.
Yeah.
That size wood, and yeah.
We'll come back to the 7-degree headstock angle because it's one of my favorite topics of conversation. But so there was a young man who wanted to know how he would do a headstock angle with his hand router, and you could make a sled that the router kind of balanced on it, and that would work fine. But I wouldn't even do that. I would rough cut it on the bandsaw and then sand it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what tools he has, but if you really wanted to, you could build something that the router was angled on a sled. I've seen that. You've seen it on guitar building forums when we used to spend time there. But yeah. So whoop. Okay. I feel better now. So guys, we've got an hour to spend with you, and if you have any questions about building guitars or repairing guitars, and you would like us to answer questions about building guitars or repairing guitars, please leave all of your questions about building guitars and repairing guitars in the comment section to the right of the screen there, and help us out and put a bunch of question marks before your question about building guitars or repairing guitars, and Chris and I will attempt to answer them as best we can. Those questions about building guitars or repairing guitars. Okay. All right. So I also have a topic that I wanted to talk about, Chris, and that is the Charlie Christian pickup or the ES-150 pickup. But we'll get to that. Look at that. Who did that? You hold that. All right. Then there's this. Put this here. I'm gonna put that next to this. I might put this on top of that. How do you think this should go? I'm just going to put this behind that, and then I'm going to put this and that over here. We might come back to this.
Are we going to talk about this and that?
We might. Could. Do you want to hold here?
Here. Oh, hey.
Here. Will you take this and that and
what's behind this and that?
I don't want this or that. I mean, I do. I want both this and that. Okay. All right.
It's not this, it's that.
Okay.
That was dumb.
So here's a question from Tony Lopes, who wants to know just checking in on my guitars. Tony, your guitars are in paint right now. But remember, this is about remember how I said this is about questions about? I repeated it a number of times.
I wasn't listening. Guitar building, guitar repair.
That's right.
Stuff
So
like that.
Tony, your guitars are in paint. Guys, if you have been attempting to reach me via phone or email, I've been almost impossible to get a hold of. I've got so much tax stuff going on right now and accounting stuff going on right now. I apologize for that. Chris and I came up with an idea though. We are going to send everybody an email. Now it's going to be a generic email letting you know that we are working on your guitars and we are working diligently on them, as well as a number of other guitars too. So
yes, and there's not one guitar that we're working on. There's not two guitars that we're working on. There's not 5 guitars that we're working on. There are
there's a
real
real
guitars,
boatload.
and they're all moving forward. And they're not moving forward as fast as some people would like. They're moving forward
particularly
Yeah.
we're the ones who
I'd like to get them done faster too.
Yeah.
But I don't want to compromise the guitars because I know if it was me, if I had to wait another, however long for it to be significantly nicer, that's what I would rather do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't worry. We work on everybody's guitars every week that we can have a class.
Yep. Okay.
They just don't always move forward as fast as you would like.
So Cecil Music says, can you recommend a good trem spring brand as they are not all created equal? That's a terrific question. And we don't really run into problems with trem springs.
Yeah.
Because all of the guitars that we build, we use the Hipshot trem. And I've never had any issues with those springs. But I don't know but I'm assuming he's got a guitar that might need some new springs. What do you have any recommendations for that, Chris?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
Unfortunately. You could first of all, we need to know what kind of trem it is. When I think trem springs, especially plural, I think Strat.
But you're right. It could be Floyd or
and I think some systems work better with certain foot-pound of springs.
Yeah.
Medium, light, whatever. And I just don't know enough about that to know.
What do you think at what point do the springs go bad? I mean, what's the life cycle of a tremolo spring, especially since there's 3 of them? It's not like there's it's not like there's one great big buffer spring that,
especially vintagey springs, I don't think ever go bad. Probably. So
this is a question that I do not have an answer for.
Sorry. Yeah.
And I realized the question wasn't when do springs go bad, but what's a good brand of spring? I would say, okay, how about this? As with most things, if you want to keep the factory performance level, I would use factory springs. So in other words, if you have a Fender guitar, use Fender springs. Now, I realize that there's, stuff made. The springs for all Fender guitars there's probably not like Squire springs and custom shop springs. There's probably one place in the world that makes these springs for Fender. I don't know where that place is.
Yeah, probably for them. Yeah.
Although
I think you can buy like American professional springs,
Okay.
and American standard springs, because I think they're probably different.
Okay.
Vintage tremolo springs. They're probably all made by the same people, but they're probably different number of winds and different rates. Spring rate. That's the word I was looking for.
That would be something interesting to deep dive into. And so we don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But I think that would be kind of fun to find out. So
you'd have to have
So Chris, let me know what you find out.
Spring rate gauge.
Well,
first of all,
I would like to see if the American professional spring actually is dimensionally different or has a different number of winds or
coils.
What do they say? Do they both say made at Spring Tech? I don't know.
I don't think they say anything, but I think they're probably different colors and different diameters and different coil numbers and stuff like that. It's it's a wacky and wild world. And I know I've had a bunch laying around and you grab one and you you go, I need another one of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can feel.
Okay.
Yeah. You know who would know? You know who would know some of this? Josh from Hipshot. We could call him and go, like, who makes you guys' springs? Because somebody we had a question and we wanted to know. So let's call Josh tomorrow. He's probably not doing anything. Well, I'm sure he won't answer the phone. But yeah, we'll find out. We're gonna find out for you guys. Okay. That was a good question, Cecil. Richard wants to know, will we get to see that awesome book match challenger body you were gluing up? Richard, there are so many challenger bodies that are being glued up right now. I'm assuming you mean the walnut one.
Yeah.
Or maybe you mean
that's the one he means.
Or maybe you mean this maple one that I'm going to use as a demo for later on. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I think he means the other one.
The walnut one? I bet you're right.
Yeah, because I think the word book match was in there.
This is a book match, is it? I think.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on. I think he said awesome book match.
Oh, that walnut was a
This
pretty
is just,
rad.
yeah, some wood, some maple.
Yeah.
So
all right. Hold on. I lost everything here. Oh,
jeez.
Yeah.
It says yes, the walnut.
Oh, okay. Michael McCoy asks, is the About Sesame Street guitar making? I don't know.
About Sesame Street.
Loring says, I'm worried there might be an open can of activator because I think Matt is losing it. Like, you know what? I think, is he talking about, I have very straight hair. I haven't used activator since the 80s, like the mid 80s, dude. So, yeah. Because I wanted my hair to hit. So I wanted to look good, you know. Anyway, okay. So, Chris, why don't we talk a little bit about the Charlie Christian pickup for a moment here?
Okay.
And then we're going to take a question from Bobby Deal. So,
okay.
First of all, we've gotten a bunch of questions about what is going on here.
That's a good question.
And why it looks like that.
So originally, this pickup was designed and installed in lap steels, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, I think so. And then it was in the 30s, a guy named Charlie Christian was having a hard time being heard in the big band that he was playing in his jazz box guitar. And so they modified one of these pickups to fit into his guitar. Previous to that, his guitar was mic'd.
Well, they just put a microphone up to it?
Yeah, and it just wasn't cutting it.
So
because the amp was too small and everything else.
So if you go back and look at pictures if you do an image search for Charlie Christian, you're bound to see a picture of Charlie Christian, but it is also very likely you will see a guitar with this pickup arrangement. And you'll see these 3 screws poking through the top of his guitar.
Yes.
So I think that looks cool. So when we put this Challenger together, we wanted to have the 3 holes poking through the top. And could you install that in this guitar?
Well,
so we can show it off.
Sort of, yeah. And so I think the idea was that they were able to put this pickup in just by cutting the single hole into his guitar and then snaking it in.
Yeah.
Which we can sort of do on this. Let me pull the screw.
We got time to kind of wrestle with it, right?
Yeah, and so they didn't really have to modify his guitar all that much, other than cut a hole in the top for the pickup, but not one in the back and all this other stuff.
So recently, though,
it was suspended from the top.
From the top, yeah. So kind of like it would be on a pick guard on, like, say, a Strat or something.
Correct.
So recently, as far as I am concerned, Charlie Christian or ES-150 or EH-150 pickups, this kind of hexagon bar magnet pickup, have become popular with players, and I think they look cool. So we thought, well, let's build one in a Challenger.
Yep.
And see. So
so on ours, you can put it in from the back because it's not 100% hollow, and then the screws go in like that.
Can we?
That's too much work.
Well, all right, you talk while I'll do it then, man. You talk.
All right, I'll do it.
Ha ha. Okay, so anyway, what you want me to hold it too? You want me to just do it? I'll do it. I'll do it.
Keep talking.
Okay, so the and you can get Charlie Christian voiced pickups in lots of different configurations so that you can easily mount one in, say, a Telecaster, but you don't necessarily get the look of this this hexagon shape here, which I think is pretty neat. And so we thought, let's put the good stuff that kids go for into the guitar, because for one thing, Chris really likes doing it.
Yep, set that down.
So we actually sourced this pickup from a guy, Vintage Vibe, and I'm gonna see if I can get Dylan to make some of these too, because I think that would be neat. So I have to have one to show Dylan, I think. They're not particularly super hot, but they're just cool, and I think they're neat. And I think that you guys will agree that it looks cool on a guitar. Now, I'm interested to see what you guys think, if you think that the 3-screw arrangement is cool and vintagey, or if it's kind of clunky. And here's a tool kit. I think
a
it's
screwdriver.
I think it's cool. Or is it Felipe, or is it a plus or a minus? Is it a big plus or a little plus?
That's a fairly good size plus. Give me the big plus.
I'm putting the big plus in here. So yeah, so I think it's neat, and I think the original mounting system, I think, looks cool. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. Just if for no other reason than it's just enough different. Otherwise, it looks just enough like a P90 to be like, oh well, okay.
Yeah. By my way of thinking, this pick, now you guys know that I'm not the world's greatest guitar player. So to me, the Charlie Christian pickup has nothing to do with what it sounds like and everything to do with what it looks like. So that's why I went with this this sort of arrangement here. Now, can we show off the back, Chris, so everyone can see what's involved with mounting this guy? This was not an easy feat. Chris
actually had to modify the pickup.
Yeah,
too.
Chris worked very, very hard to get this to be right
and to look cool.
Yeah, because again, it's got to look neat as well as sound right, and I think this definitely looks killer.
Yeah,
and you did a really good job on the control, the layout here, and it's I don't know, it's shaped like the pickup, and you made a cool cover for it, and it's really, really neat. Yeah,
there's a pickup.
Yeah, so I think that the 3 screw mount is really extra cool, and
it's got some adjustable stuff, and that has all come loose.
I was talking to Pete, and he said the red Loctite screws are the ones that are adjustable.
Yeah, they're adjustable, and I think I've monkeyed with it enough that Loctite loose. So
okay.
Before we put it back together, I'll Loctite them down.
All right.
Yep. So there you go.
Okay, let's jump back into some questions here.
Okay.
Bobby Dill had a question, and it is, I ordered some Simtech sealer for the Firebird project. All I had to do is mention your name. How did you find out originally about this product? Great question, Bobby. We found out about the product Simtech Easy Sanding Sealer 5820 or 2850 through our good friend Mike Learn at Mike Learn Airbrush, Mike Learn Custom Guitars, etc., etc. Mike Learn .com. So, and he was telling us about it, and we have it on good authority from someone who knows, Mike Learn, that that is kind of the industry standard product. So if you know of a guitar company, it is likely that they use Simtech Easy Sanding.
Yeah, our good friend Brian Nutter uses Simtech and did not find out about it from us or Mike Learn.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I would say he's been in the industry long enough that
he knows.
He heard from it or about it from somebody else. So
yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember when we tried that the first time, Chris. We're like, we don't know if this is going to work.
Sanding sealer.
And we were instant converts. This was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is stinky though.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, it works really well.
Doc asks, for the classes, if we are using all Hipshot hardware, are we better to order direct from them or go through you instead? Doc, I am not 100% sure what pieces you are planning on using from Hipshot, but I would say if you can call Hipshot and if they have it, I can get you a good price on it. If they don't have it, I can't get it for you. I don't have any juice there other than I get distributor pricing. I have no sway over like what is available. In fact, it is so not, there are so many things that are not available that Chris and I have had. Hold on, let me make sure I say this correctly. We have started an Amazon store and Joy put that together for us. And the reason that we wanted to do it is because it's so hard to come up with pieces and parts right now that we went to the biggest place we could come up with to where you can just, so if you go to our Amazon store, link in the description below, guys, you'll notice that there's like build a strat and there's all the parts to build a strat and there's a bunch of duplicates. So there's a bunch of bridges and a bunch of different pickup sets. So you can spend a lot or a little. And of course you can spend as much as you want on anything, but
yeah, you can also go off the reservation. Just because we have spec'd, these knobs don't mean you need to use those knobs.
No.
It's like a reminder. Oh yeah, I'm going to need knobs.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm going to need strings.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I put a bunch of stuff in there just like that. Like,
yeah,
you're going to need one of these, whether it's this one or some other one. Yeah.
So the Amazon store makes it easy. You can even if you don't buy the stuff that we recommend or you buy something that we didn't recommend or whatever.
Yeah,
it's fine. Just make sure you get all the stuff. There's a bunch of other things on our Amazon store too. There's like, if you want to dress like me, you can. Or if you want to carry around stuff that Chris and I carry around.
Prybrid X.
In our pockets. Like, for example, this.
I don't think I have mine.
Like this little flashlight here. Oh, you do. So like this is in our Amazon store, this Streamlight. And I carry this flashlight around with me every day. So anyway, yeah, so we just put a bunch of stuff up there and it's pretty neat. And some of you guys are already using it. So I can't put that back in my pocket right this second. Because you know why? Because I'm not wearing my Carhartts today. I'm wearing jeans today. Anyway. So yeah, so Doc, if the problem with a lot of companies, including Hipshot right now, is there's very limited stuff. So if you want a set of tuners, they've got those. If you want like, I think a fixed bridge, they might have a few of them. If you want some bass tuners, they might have a few, and they have like one bass bridge. But they don't have any trims. They don't have well, I say they don't have any. We ordered some trims the other day. They had some in black. They don't have any in chrome. They have any in gold. So depending on what you want, call and find out what if they have what you want. And if they do, if you want to order it from me, I'd be happy to do that for you. If you want to order it from them, that'd be fine too. Or if you want to just shoot from the hip and pull the trigger on the Amazon stuff, that would absolutely work too. Right. Are you looking at questions?
I am.
Okay. You want to work the question thing?
Sure, I can do that.
The Amazon store is pretty neat though, because it like you said, it has everything that you're going to need for all the classes. Like for example, we got a paint class coming up. So there's the respirator that you recommend people get and the Tyvek suit that we think everybody needs to have and stuff like that. So.
Yep. Have you ever thought about doing a carb top?
Carb top what?
Challenger.
We've done lots of carb top challenges.
We've done several.
Yeah.
We do not currently offer them.
Well, wait. We do offer them, but they're very, very limited things.
And prepare to have a long, long wait.
Prepare to have a long, long wait and prepare to spend an awful lot of money.
Yep.
Because the carb top changes. So if somebody really, really, really wants a carb top, there's a guy, Vincent, who wants a carb top. And I'm not trying to talk him out of it, but I'm basically trying to brace him for how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost. So because he's like, man, I saw that one that you get it for Tony and that looks really great. I really want one like that with, maple or whatever. Fine. We'll do that, but it's not a standard thing. So it's not standard money and it's not standard time. It's a lot more money and a lot more time.
Yep. Yep.
So in answer to your question, have we ever thought about it? Yeah. Have we ever done it? Yeah. Do we offer them? Yeah, but it's not a standard option.
Yeah. Michael McCoy wants to know if we can mount the Charlie Christian the opposite way and use the bolts to attach the neck. No.
Well, we glue the neck on.
Yeah,
so
glue the neck on. It's two separate things. And the screws are, you want the pickup to be adjustable. So those are the adjustments.
It's an intriguing idea though, to incorporate that. Although then you wouldn't, but you're right, you wouldn't get to see the screws for, the screws are, imagine they're the humbucker adjustment screw, or the screws on the side of a pickup that adjust the height.
Yeah, and it's just a different way to get to the same place, basically. Yeah, you need to, some way to adjust the pickup height. That's just how you do that one.
Yeah.
So
if that was a serious question, that's intriguing. Or if you're just kind of being silly, then
yeah.
The answer is still the same, but
Yep. What tool did we use to make the custom cover for the Charlie Christian thing?
1/4-inch router bit.
I designed templates on the CNC machine. Just because it's faster that way.
But what was the tool you used?
The CNC machine.
1/4-inch router bit.
Yeah, quarter. No, actually, I used a 5 238 bit.
Okay.
To cut it out. It's a 64th.
Okay.
Yeah, or something like that. It's not quite a 64th.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. Sorry. How does the Charlie Christian pickup adjust for the user? Those 3 screws, you run those up and down and it will raise and lower the pickup.
But you know what else? That pickup, the magnets are designed to be removed, sort of like on a standard humbucker where you can pull the magnets out. So for example, if you say, I want to try an Alnico 2 magnet instead of an Alnico 5, whatever. Okay, no sweat. You can rotate, or you can pull the Alnico 5s out and you put the Alnico 2 magnets right in there.
There you go.
So it's actually quite user adjustable. And as you said, Chris, the screws, the 3 screws adjust the height of the pickup, and the blade is matched to the radius of the neck. So in this case, it's a 10-inch radius because our Challengers have a 10-inch radius fretboard. So this will in fact have a 10-inch radius once we get the fretboard radius, which we're a ways out from doing that. So the blade will match that, which okay. And then these 3 screws here adjust the height. And like, as I said, you can pull the magnets. You have to pull this assembly out, but you can pull the magnets from the pickup and swap them out. They're user swap outable.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Cool.
I believe that's cool.
Yep. So we got a super chat from Bobby Dale. Says,
let's take a super chat.
Thanks for the info, guys. Have a beer on me. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Doc has a question about the tele class.
All right.
0.125 or 0.175 for the fixed bridge for the tele class.
If I were you, Doc, I would get the shorter one.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very traditional build. So no need for a taller bridge. We can always make it lower.
Yep.
Loring wants to know, is there a rule of thumb for the minimum length of truss rod for a neck?
I think the rule of thumb for the length of a truss rod has more to do with where precisely you want to impart the counter action of the strings.
The most?
Yes.
Yes.
So, because remember, the truss rod, it makes a smiley face or it makes a frowny face. So, if you want the truss rod to work in this location the most, then you need to have the apex of your smiley or frown right here. And then that will dictate that the truss rod will need to go from, it works exactly in the middle. So your truss rod will need to be from here to here. For our electric guitar builds, we use a 17¼ inch truss rod. We could use 16 and it would probably be just fine.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the rule of thumb is, remember that you're going to be putting the most counter onto the string tension in the middle of the rod. Okay, so you need to find out where, so if you figure the middle of your between the nut and the 12th fret is going to be a good spot to think, but it doesn't actually work like that. You could say, well, the 12th fret's right in the middle, so that's where I want the middle of my truss rod. Not necessarily, because it doesn't start moving here. It only starts moving about here and goes up.
Yeah, it's from the thinnest.
Yeah,
it's the thinnest part of the neck, so it doesn't. Yeah, here, let me flip everybody off. Yeah.
So so the rule of thumb has very little to do with the length of the rod. It has everything to do with the length of the neck and where the apex of the curve needs to be.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Okay. Okay.
Loring also says, great job, Chris, on the mount for the Charlie Christian back. Looks really great. It's because I had practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a piece of cake.
Is Loring coming to the paint class?
I don't know. Let's ask him.
Okay. I don't know. I suspect that if Loring comes, it'll be like, hey guys, I'm on my way to the paint class. And we'll just, so Loring, if you want to come to the paint class in this month, there's a spot for you.
There is.
Okay.
Yep. Ken Tipton asks, how is the build competition coming along? Number of entries.
Okay, Ken, that is a great question, because this Sunday's video is going to make the number of entries go from this to this. It's going to take off like a rocket. Because this Sunday's video is going to be titled How to Win a Guitar Building Contest. Isn't that right, Chris?
Correct.
With parts from Tonewood Experts, Texas Toast Guitars, and Maximum Guitars. Remember, guys, all of our sponsors, the sponsors of our channel, are helping us with the Great American Guitar Building Contest. Especially Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, link in the description below. Steve is offering, get this, $100 worth of templates or tools to every person who signs up for the contest. So let me let you wrap your brain around this. It's $100 to enter the contest, and if you win the contest, you win all the money. Okay, so if Chris and I enter the contest and I win the contest, I get $200. If Chris wins, he gets $200. If 100 people enter the contest, then we win 100. We win 10 grand.
$100 million.
$50,000. Yeah. So we win however much it is. Yeah. So
it's 100. How many people times 100?
How am I saying this right? So if there's 10 people who enter the contest, you could win $1,000.
Yes.
There's 20 people, 2,000, and so on. Right now, there's very few people that
30 people.
I don't know. 30,000? No. 3,000? That's how many? 3,000. Yeah.
300. Yeah.
It's true, dude. Carry the one.
Yeah.
Hold the mayo. I'm thinking extra pickle.
12 times the 4th power.
4 to the 8th. Carry square root of. All right. So anyway.
3.
Anyway. Oh, don't forget the remainder. So
times X.
Quit it. So right now I think there's 4 or 5 people who have entered the contest, but I predict that after this Sunday's video, that number is going to skyrocket because, like I said, okay. So anyway, back to that $100, $100 entry fee, total cash payback on depending on how many. So, no matter what, you get $100 worth of templates and tools from Steve. You get to pick whatever you want. So it's kind of like getting an entry fee free.
Yep.
And when you guys see what Steve has in store for you, what you can get for this $100, one of the things you can get, I think you're going to want to enter.
Yep. Okay. It's super chat time.
All right, let's take a super.
Dan Andradas says, good Thursday. You'll see an email I sent you. We'll look for it.
Okay.
Doc Siltonson says, thanks for the info. Cheers.
Thank
and
you,
then
Doc.
Paul McNary wants to know, what parts do we need to supply for the May classes?
Okay, Paul. I think Paul sent an email earlier, and I think somebody got back to him. Maybe it was me, maybe it was you. Anyway, the the Build a Classic Fender classes, we used to call them Build a Classic Telly, Build a Classic Strat, but we changed everything to just Build a Classic Fender. The reason we were able to do that is because we lowered the price of the class and we stopped providing hardware.
Correct.
We still provide the body wood and the neck wood and, you know, truss rod and frets and stuff like that, and finish. If you get it, yeah, because that class includes finish.
Yep.
And all the tools that you need to put it together.
Yep.
That's not, you don't get to keep those, but all that stuff is here. And 5 days of class instruction. What you need to provide, and I sent this out in a letter to everybody, and maybe I need to send it out again. You need to provide all the other hardware.
Yes.
And the reason we're doing it like that is because it would be one thing if someone said, well, I want to come build a Telecaster, and 5 other people said, I want to build a Telecaster too. Great. We're going to source this Tele hardware. Well, I don't like that. I want this.
Well, even if
you know
that wasn't the case, you know, even if everybody loved the hardware, it's fairly easy to source Tele hardware times 5.
Yeah. Well, oh, that's right. Yeah, times 5.
Yeah, times 5. Now,
or 6.
Yeah, Tele hardware. Okay, Jazzmaster hardware. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a list of crazy shit that I want.
Yeah. So
this thing that I want to build.
It is not unlikely that we could get one guy that wants to build a Tele, a guy who wants to build a Strat, a guy who wants to build a Jazzmaster, a guy who wants to build a Jag, a guy who wants to build a Mustang with 2 humbuckers and a Strat trim. The guy. This is, by the way, that's one class. That's actually a class that's happening.
And then you get to go source. We get to go source,
which we can't. We simply cannot.
So much stuff. And part of the fun of, I think, of building guitars, especially for yourself, is digging and finding exactly the parts you want, because everybody's got an idea of stuff they want. Now in the Tele class, it was nice because Tele hardware is Tele hardware, and you can upgrade and it fits and does all this other stuff. But as soon as you go off the reservation,
as soon as you say, I want 2 humbuckers, I want a deluxe, or I want,
it's all completely different. So we decided to put that on you guys,
and we lowered the price so that you had plenty of money to make whatever you wanted.
So
I think we lowered the price like $350.
It was more than we spent on the hardware. So it's actually a better deal in the long run for you guys to do it this way, and you get the stuff you want right away. And usually it's better than the stuff we would expect.
And you know who you have to thank for that? Ryan Elias. Because he was the first guy who came out and he wanted I want, and he kind of had this crazy list, and I'm like, I can't. What if everybody? Ryan is great. Don't get me wrong. We love Ryan. Ryan's been out here a bunch of times. He's coming back a bunch of times. But he kind of gave us a little bit of perspective, which was, holy crap, what if we had 6 guys who wanted the same level of complexity that Ryan wanted? So it became obvious to us that we had to change the way that we did classes. So that was Dan.
What? Who asked that question? Paul.
So Paul, if you have not gotten the list that I sent out or the information, it sounds like you're not getting the stuff that I sent. There should be attachments to all the emails that I send that have links to or a list of all the stuff that you're going to need to bring. If you didn't get that, let me know and I'll send it out again. Okay. And send it through the website so I get it, because there are multiple people monitoring that email now. It's not just me monitoring it.
Okay. So, there you go. Grudgemeyer wants to know, he's asked twice, without any question marks, you should put question marks in that are
hard for us to find.
Before, what method do you like to enhance flame on maple?
That's a great question. I don't like any method to enhance flame.
No, we don't. We like, I'm not a big fan of making maple look more flamey.
And you and I are in the minority there.
If it's flamey, it's gonna pop and it's gonna look really cool.
As soon as
it's not flamey, you can't make it pop.
Well, you can a little bit. But I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze.
No, and it's not like we go out of our way to get really, really, really flamey shit. It just sort of happens. In a lot of ways, and it looks really, really cool. And it's
That to me is what's neat about figured wood is It's kind of what it is. So what we do when we want to accentuate the grain is we spray it with Simtech Easy Sanding Sealer.
Yep.
And we shoot a translucent candy color, and then we spray clear. And whatever it looks like is whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
We do not do anything to attempt to make it pop. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who do, most notably Paul Reed Smith and the people there, and they do the best job of anybody in the world, probably. And everybody that does it probably has Paul Reed Smith and that company to thank for it. Whether you're Joe Nags, who used to run the Paul Reed Smith custom shop, or Big D. I don't know. I don't know if Big D ever, but you know what I'm getting at though. In the 70s, nobody was attempting to accentuate maple with the way that PRS kind of standardized. So you can do that. You can, dye it, or you can dye it black and sand it back. But we don't do any of that stuff because we don't really try to seek out figured wood like that. I think figured wood is neat, but I think it's neater when you just kind of find it. And personally, I think that the over-the-top figure, I'm looking at a piece of quilt over there that actually is fairly over the top, and it's unfortunate that it's on that guitar.
Yep.
Because the neck went.
Yeah.
But I think that Kaiser blade, I can see it from here. That's going to be a crazy flame top.
Yeah, and I think until you get and you can wet it and get some idea of what's going to happen, but until you actually start putting real product on it, whether it's oil or something like that, you're just not going to quite see it.
Yeah.
And we've had woods, they're like, oh, that looks pretty good, and then it really looks good after you put some sealer on it.
But you know what can happen, Chris, is if you get wood that's so outrageous and you try to make it look even more outrageous, to my mind's eye, it looks
starts looking
fake.
Like a picture, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a photograph.
And I kind of like it to look like wood and not like, and I realize even if you spend a lot of money for the wood, it's the real thing. But again, it's just the way I think about it. I'm like, it doesn't look right to me. It doesn't look, but that's just me.
Yeah. Brian Duncan wants to know
if
he can enter guitars built at Texas Toast into the building contest.
Fine by me. You can go to Guitar Center and buy a guitar and enter it for all I care. We did not put any rules on what can be entered.
Nope. Nope. Well, although it is called the Great American Guitar Building
Contest. That's true.
Yeah. So you do have to build something or be in the building.
But you could buy a body or a neck and build a body or whatever. Yeah, I don't care.
Yep. Gino says, Matt, I noticed when you use the shaper, you go in one direction with no tear out. Is this that cutter head the reason you don't worry about grain direction?
Yes, Gino, it is the reason. There are two things that cutter head has going for it. One is the diameter. It's 3 inches in diameter, and you still get some tear out sometimes, but nowhere near what you would get if you had a similar, like say, spiral fluted cutter that's 1/2 inch in diameter. The bigger the cutting head, the less likely you are to experience tear out. The other thing that cutter head has going for it is it's a spiral bit with it's a helix cutter with individual carbide cutters. So you can rotate the carbide cutters and they stay sharp all the time. The other thing that the shaper has going for it that's not specific to the cutter head, is the maximum speed is 10,000 RPM. But it's a belt drive motor. You will not bog that machine down.
I never heard it slow down once.
Never. And we're cutting like it'll plow through 2 inches of maple like it ain't no thing. Imagine it's a joiner with the head of the cutter head poking out the table.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got lots and lots and lots of things that are different from a router. And that's one of the reasons that we don't have any tear out with the shaper. That's why we got the shaper, was because we wanted to use the biggest cutting head we could.
Uh-huh. Yep, it is.
That's a great question, though.
It is. Bet Like You're Rich asks, this is another
I like that
contest.
style already.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does the production assessment for the contest mean? Does that mean how easy it can be mass produced?
I don't know. Is that probably on the website? I think that's where. So remember, Chris and I are not judging these guitars. We have nothing to do with the judging,
right?
At all. The judges have everything to do with the judging, and I think that that's going to be different. You would need to ask either Jimmy, Brian Nutter, Philip McKnight, or Jeff LaQuattro what that means.
Sure.
Subject to change, because we do not have. Is Ike going to judge? I think Ike's going to do some judging too.
Is he? Okay. Since he's not going to do the other show.
Yeah, because remember, we are not. I think it's tacky for us to judge our own contests.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. I also think it's tacky for us to enter our own contest. What's the difference between neck through and set through, or set through just the same as set neck?
I don't know.
That's Colin Courtney.
I am not familiar with the term set through.
I've never heard set through.
I've heard neck through, and I've heard set neck.
Yes.
But and what I can tell you is the difference between a neck through and a set neck is the neck through is, as it says, goes from the headstock all the way to the end of the guitar is one chunk. There can be lots of pieces glued together, but it's all one linear piece. Whereas the set neck is a guitar body and a guitar neck, and you join them with glue. You can also join them with screws, but then it becomes a bolt-on or screw together or whatever. But I've never heard the term.
Yeah, term you want to use.
I've never heard the term set through, but I have heard the term set neck.
Yep.
I love this hat. I think this hat should be in our Amazon store, Chris.
Okay.
But it's not available on Amazon.
Maybe you could find like the cheap Chinese knockoff.
This hat is from Two Roads Hat Company.
Okay.
And yeah, I love it. I know everybody watching loves it too.
Yep. Yep. We had a question earlier. I'm trying to find it.
Was it from Dylan Talks Tone? Did you know that Dylan Talks Tone is here and he's also a sponsor of our channel? Guys, if you want to have a cool custom wound pickup made just for you, Dylan McCurchie from Dylan Talks Tone, Dylan Pickups, and his lovely wife, Leslie. I'm not sure how much pickup winding she's doing. But they will wind it. You get the actual guy. It'd be like if you called up Seymour Duncan and said, "Hey, will Seymour Duncan wind my pickup for me?" Only in this case, they'll say, "Well, if you say, well, Dylan, wind my pickup for me," yeah, he will.
He's the only guy that winds.
He's the only guy who does it. Yeah. So Dylan McCurchie from Dylan Talks Tone, Dylan Pickups, link in the description below. Get some really cool pickups from that guy, and I think there is 1 or 2 spots left in the last pickup, building, and winding with Dylan. He's going to be here the entire month of May. There's 1 or 2 spots left in the very last class. They're filling up fast. Sorry, Chris.
That's okay. William Telly asked this question earlier. Hope he's still here. Is an HVLP setup a way to avoid buying a big ass air compressor?
I guess it depends on if you're talking about a conversion gun, which it doesn't sound like he's talking about.
Well, I think he's talking about an HVLP system where it's a gun and a on-demand air supply unit. I have not used one of those in a really, really, really long time, probably 25 years, maybe 30 years.
There's bound to be some developments.
Yeah, there probably is. It was pretty good then. One of the big issues was the air was hot that came out of it.
Why is that, I wonder?
I think just because of the motor and the turbine and the.
Is there like a cooling mechanism that can?
Well, probably could now. But
remember we used to run like through ice and stuff.
Yeah, but I have heard good things about certain systems. I just haven't used any to be able to say yes or no.
I have a question for you regarding that.
Okay.
Why did we buy the system why did we go with the way that we have? Like, because we could have gone with anything when we first started.
Well, I think because you had a compressor. You had enough air.
So it was just okay.
Yeah, it was just, and it was baby step to what we have now.
Okay.
Instead of going, well, we don't have anything. And it's kind of the conventional way to do it.
Yeah.
So
if I had no compressor,
big ass air compressor,
what would you have said we should, like, if you were like there, let's say we started with nothing.
Yeah.
At Jump Street.
Okay.
You were like, all right, we're gonna start spraying guitars. We can have anything we want.
Yeah.
Here's what we want.
I at that time I didn't know enough about it. I just said we need a big ass air compressor.
Okay, yeah, I would have too. Yeah.
Yeah. We need a big ass air compressor, filter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And go from there. So
okay, yeah. You know, I mean, you know who else uses a big ass air compressor and water separator filter? Mike Learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
If and Mike could have anything and does and is changing stuff all the time, but I've never heard him say, I'm gonna go a bit of this. That doesn't mean he hasn't done it, but
yeah. I've heard good things about some of the newer systems.
Mhm.
I haven't tried one, so I couldn't tell you.
Have you ever tried a beer from Odyssey Beer Works, the great American beer brewery?
Oh, tell me more.
One of our channel sponsors is Chris and Dina from Odyssey Beer Works, right here in Arvada, Colorado. We're not drinking their beer right now because we're actually going to go over there later this week, huh, Chris? Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Odyssey Beer Works brewed our Texas Toast Red, which I believe is gone or really, really close to being gone. If you guys want to get a can or two of it, I think you probably can, but it's not on tap anymore. It's gone, daddy, gone. But fear not, gentle viewer. I think there's going to be another batch of Texas Toast something, maybe a couple times a year. Who knows? We'll see. I think there's going to be like a summer one because I'm a summertime guy. You know what it should be called?
Summertime guy.
Oh. It should be called Cutoffs for Life.
Matt's a summertime guy. Beer.
Yeah. So Odyssey Beer Works, check them out. And if you're in the Denver area, give us a call. Maybe we'll go to Odyssey Beer Works with you. That's all right.
Yep. Here's a question. Okay. I don't know if you want to. We can maybe allude to it. Richard Otterina says, "Will you guys ever sell necks?"
Richard, can I answer that question on Sunday during the video?
There you go.
What I can tell you is that we have no plans of offering custom necks with anything you want, in any configuration you want, in any scale you want, made out of any wood that you want, for any guitar that you want. There was a time that we used to do that. So like, for example, we used to, like, if somebody, and this happened, these are all things that happen. Hey, I've got a Mosrite and I need a neck for it. Can you make me a neck for it? Yeah, there was a time where we did that. We no longer can do that. But we may have something for you, and I'd like to wait until Sunday to share that with you.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, Aaron Enright says, hey, did you hear that A&H Abrasives is now out of business?
You know what, Aaron? I did hear about the A&H Abrasives is out of business.
Which is weird because it seemed like a really top, like well-run company.
Well, it was actually Woodworker Supply. It was a subsidiary of Woodworker Supply.
Was it? Okay.
Called A&H Abrasives, you got Woodworker Supply, which is still a thing.
Yeah.
They just sold off the custom belt.
Oh, did they? Okay. Yeah.
So who are we going with now?
So now we're getting stuff through Klingspor.
Klingspor, yeah. So if you feel like you need to get custom made anything, check out Klingspor. And boy, talk about an easy company to work with.
They do have so one of the neat things that they do actually have their retail portal online is infinitely better than their wholesale portal.
Okay.
How much does it cost wholesale? I don't know.
Who knows?
How much does it cost retail? This much. Oh, okay, I'll buy it from that. Yeah. How long does it take wholesale? I don't know.
They have a guy who comes around and
I actually told him, why is it so hard to buy sandpaper?
Who is our guy? Dale.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he came by the shop.
Territory is about half the country.
Yeah,
probably. So,
but so we needed custom size belts for our deadhead sander, and Klingspor was able to get us sorted out.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Yeah.
So if you have built your own deadhead sander and you need custom size belts, check out Klingspor. They're a little more expensive than A&H Abrasives was.
A&H was, frankly,
they were giving it away.
I wasn't quite sure it was even going to be sandpaper. It was so cheap, and it was actually good.
Belts were like $11. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it going to cost to get this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's the size?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they'll do it in 1/4 inch increments. Really? Well, so what's a belt cost? 68 1/4 inches.
Yeah, we thought like several hundred. Yeah,
$11. Yeah. What's the over under? Well, I don't know, $50. They're $11.
Yeah.
All right.
So Klingspor is about 3 times that, I think it's better abrasive. And so do you.
Well, I certainly haven't. The stuff in the wood shop,
Yeah.
I don't remember enough either way, but I do like a lot of the other Klingspor stuff that we've tried. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's Polish for sandpaper.
Does it say that?
No, I made that up.
Oh, that's a good slogan.
It's Polish. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know who else is Polish?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Uh-huh.
Actually, our new guy in the shop.
Yeah.
Brandon Kaminsky.
He wasn't the one I was thinking of, but yeah.
Yeah, we have a new guy who's working with us in the shop. Hopefully, it's going to speed up some of this. He's helping us out part-time. He's so far, you know what? Great guy. Really, it's nice to have kind of a young person who's an unjaded, not like crotchety old fart like me.
Uh-huh. I will agree. Yes.
So
we'll do things that neither one of us want to do.
Yeah. And so he
like tomorrow he's going to go to Home Depot and buy packing supplies.
Oh, is he? Okay.
You know how I know that?
Because that's
what I'm going to make him do.
So he actually works in close proximity to Chris. All I do with Brandon is kind of goof around.
Yeah.
Chris actually is the person.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so he's going to get to go and buy bubble wrap and stuff like that.
Right.
Teach him how to box things up.
So we've got a bunch of things that kind of need boxing up.
Yeah, try and take care of some of the things that we're not overly good at.
Okay, good.
And he's turned into he's actually a good sander, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yep. And he's nice to have him around. And he likes flan. So yeah. Come on. Flan for the win. Are there any more questions?
Yeah, Rick B has a question.
Rick.
It's not really. You know who's Polish? Ike from Flipside Music.
No, Ike is not Polish.
It'd be funny. Ike Evangelo.
It'd be funny if he was, but he's not. Yeah,
but that's okay. But it's a good segue.
Yeah, that what Rick said though.
No, yes, that's what it said. Yeah.
Flipside Music, the great American guitar store, guys. If you're in the Denver area, please check out Flipside Music. Tell Ike that Matt and Chris and Brandon and everybody else from Texas Toast said hi. And you never know, he might give you a sticker. He might give you one of these. I don't know. But Ike is a cool dude. We went and had hot chicken with Ike yesterday.
We did.
At Dave's Hot Chicken. Man, it was good. Wasn't as hot as it was usually, but it was good.
You just might be getting used to it.
Maybe I'm gonna level up next time. So yeah, Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. Check them out. They're open 7 days a week, and their website is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yep. Okay, so we got a super chat from Doug Murray.
Hey, Doug.
Let's answer this, and then there might be time for a very entertaining Ventures Don Wilson story for all of you who are talking about.
But we have to thank our other sponsors like Dan and Calvin at Tonewood Experts.
Yes,
guys. In the Sunday's video, we're gonna have a lot of stuff from Tonewood Experts, Steve at Maximum Guitars, and Texas Toast Guitars. And I want you guys to tune in for that 5 o'clock Mountain Time Sunday.
Okay, good. So Don wants to know, hey guys, any advice on doing a carve top on PRS style guitar?
Yeah, go to our Amazon page and buy a bunch of tools.
Yeah.
Our Amazon store is loaded with good stuff, which has nothing to do with a carve top, but I wanted to plug the Amazon page, the Amazon store. You know, I'm an influencer now, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not very influential, but I am an you're more influential than I am.
No, I'm not.
I love that whammy bar shirt. We should put that whammy bar shirt in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So any advice on doing a carve top?
Go slow.
I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, that's a good question. Unfortunately, at this late hour.
The thing about a carve top that everyone needs to remember and is often forgotten is that if you take, say, take our Challenger shape, for example, which has been optimized to be a flat top guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you want to change it to a carve top. It's not like, okay, you just take it and make it a carve top. You change a lot of things. You change a lot of angles, and you change a lot of perspective of tools to the way that they work with the angle. So, and you change more than just making the top thick. So if you look at a Les Paul, there are no fewer than 3 angles on the guitar body. Actually, there's 4 angles on a Les Paul body at the very minimum. And the neck has to be straight and angled. And there's so much stuff. I would actually, I know this sounds tacky, but I would advise that you go to my Amazon store into the books and video section. There's a book about build your own electric guitar, and it's a famous book. The guy who wrote it is dead now. I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. So you hear that? That's the feverish typing of people stuff. But I wish I could remember his name because there's a bunch of great information in there. And a carb top is a whole different thing than a flat top guitar. And everything is different. And I would say if you want to start making carb top guitars, build a Les Paul, because you can look at one and you can go, there's forums all over the place with unlimited number of Les Paul stuff. There's even a bunch of stuff that I did that's like still floating around out there from back when I was making a bunch of Les Pauls. There are Les Paul, there's plenty of stuff to do, and you just kind of get a feel for it. And then you take and you modify, it's like kind of like a recipe, you know what I mean? You take and you change some ingredients and you get something very different. So a Paul Reed Smith, a violin carved Paul Reed Smith carb top style instrument is considerably trickier than you might think. Making the flat top version of that guitar is way easier. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. But what I am saying is it's not to be taken lightly. Take your carb top thing very seriously, and you'll end up with something very cool. Now, if you have not built a Telecaster yet, build that first. Don't just jump in and go, I'm going to make the best guitar I've ever made before I've ever made one. Build a Tele first.
Yep.
You know.
All right, let's be done so we don't crowd.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Have we call out all the sponsors? John and Cheryl from Bitterroot Guitars, guys, link in the description below. You can save 15-20% if you go on there and use the code TXTOAST at checkout.
Yep.
Thank you.
I will tell, if you remind me tomorrow night, Cecil, I will tell my Don Wilson story. It's a good one. You won't want to miss it.
And I will tell my Don Magic Wands.
You will tell your Don Knotts story.
My Don Cornelius story.
I've been looking at you through your bedroom window. All right. Let's be done.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for a cool reveal, hopefully, and more mad music and crazy comedy. We'll see you then, guys. Take care. Have a great night.